They had searched for this place for 3 weeks. What they found that morning changed everything. By sunrise, he was standing inside the ruins. The markings were older than anything in the expedition's records. Then he noticed something carved beneath it. It wasn't alone. Another symbol appeared only a few feet away. He began marking their positions. A pattern was starting to emerge. When he connected the points, they formed the outline of something much larger. At first, he thought the symbols were random. Then he noticed something strange. Every marking appeared at almost exactly the same distance from the next. The distance was so consistent that it couldn't easily be explained by chance. He showed the pattern to the rest of the team. Their reaction was not what he expected. One of the researchers recognized the pattern. He had seen something similar in an old expedition report. The report described another site hundreds of miles away. The markings looked almost identical. But there was one problem. The two sites were separated by hundreds of miles. They began comparing the locations. And that's when another detail caught their attention. There wasn't just one matching site. There was a third. 3 distant sites, the same strange markings. And suddenly, the discovery looked less like a coincidence. The more they compared them, the harder it became to dismiss the similarities. When they connected the 3 locations, the points formed an almost perfect triangle. But the triangle pointed toward a 4th location, one that wasn't on any of their maps. They followed the line beyond the 3 known sites. It led deep into unexplored territory. For the next 6 hours, they followed the direction suggested by the markings. Then, buried beneath the vegetation, they saw the first sign that they were getting close. It wasn't a natural formation. Someone had deliberately built it. The passage disappeared beneath the jungle floor. They had no idea where it would lead. And then they saw them again. The same markings were carved into the walls. The markings weren't isolated. They continued deeper into the passage. Then the passage changed. The walls became straighter, the floor became deliberate, and the tunnel suddenly looked engineered. At the end of the tunnel, they found a doorway. And for the first time, they wondered what the builders had been trying to hide. The doorway wasn't sealed with a lock. It had been sealed with stones placed from the inside. There was a chamber behind it, and judging by the darkness, it was far larger than the tunnel. When they finally stepped inside, they realized the tunnel had been leading to something much bigger. The chamber was almost empty, but the walls contained something far more valuable than treasure. The carvings appeared to tell a story, a journey that ended somewhere beyond the mountains. Demons. Then they noticed the coastline. It looked remarkably similar to the shape they had seen on their map. The shapes weren't identical, but they were similar enough to raise a disturbing question. If the carving represented the same coastline, someone had recorded its shape long before the expedition ever arrived. But the real discovery was still ahead. The same coastline appeared again and again across the chamber. Beneath each coastline was another sequence of symbols. and one sequence appeared more often than the others. They had seen that symbol before. It appeared in the oldest report they had brought with them. The symbol wasn't unique to this discovery. It had been documented decades earlier. The old report contained almost no explanation, only a date, a location, and one sentence about the symbol. But the final page was missing. Someone had removed it. Someone had known about the symbol before them, and for some reason, they had chosen not to explain it. They decided to return to the chamber. This time, they weren't looking for the city. They wanted to know whether the people who found the chamber decades earlier had missed something. They searched the lower part of the wall. That's where they found something the first expedition had apparently missed. Beneath the dirt was a narrow outline in the stone. It looked like a hidden panel. It hadn't been sealed permanently. It had been designed to open. Behind the panel was a container, and whatever was inside had been deliberately hidden. Whatever this box contained had remained untouched for centuries. The pages contained a map, and beside it was a description of the same 3 sites they had just discovered. Inside the box was something unexpected. Not gold, not weapons, a record. The final line wasn't describing the city. It was warning whoever found the record. The final line wasn't describing the city. It was warning whoever found the record. The warning pointed to the 4th location. The place they had assumed was empty. They had been searching in the wrong place. The 4th location wasn't somewhere outside the ruins. It was hidden inside them. Behind the wall was a room no larger than a small house, and it had been sealed for centuries. The tablet connected everything. 3 sites, 1 symbol, and a coastline recorded centuries before their expedition. The markings weren't a message from a lost city. They were a map tool, a record of a network connecting places that had been separated for centuries. They had found one hidden chamber. But if the map was real, there were still others waiting to be found.